Hello family and friends, this is Rob the Sapper Gardener and welcome to Essayons Family Garden and an episode of Chow Time. And this one was inspired by our friends over at Simple Paradise Life. I'll leave a link to her original video, but we're doing a recipe from way south of the border down in Brazil. So I guess the official national dish is a dish called feijoada, and she did a version of it on her channel, and when she did it, it looked really good. Matter of fact, it looked good enough to make me want to read up on it some more, and the more I read up on it, the more different versions of it, the more I wanted to try it for my family. And one of the things that kind of brought me to it was the fact that there's SK2 was that it is a Brazilian version of soul food, in my opinion. A lot of soul food here in the United States came about during the slavery era, where slaves were given the leftover products, and they gave it tender loving care, and they made it something special. And feijoada is very similar. Down in Brazil during their slavery days, the slaves were given, the leftovers, the things that the slave owners didn't want, the pork belly, the pork jowls, the pig ears, the snouts, and they made it something special. And feijoada is that dish. So I'm going to title this video Feijoada, a Brazilian soul food. So let me turn you guys around and show you what we're cooking in ours. So feijoada is a bean dish typically, and uses black beans. We're using canned beans for this one. We do have dry beans downstairs, but in the interest of time, aka I did not plan far enough in advance to soak ours and cook them, we're going to use canned beans. And we're going to use some leftover meats that we have, some from our freezer, some that we have grilled recently and had in the refrigerator. We've got some chorizo sausage, which we grilled and had a couple of days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. We've got some pork belly that has been roasted, and we took it out and we chopped it up. We've got some beef brisket that we smoked a few weeks ago and took it out of the freezer and chopped it up. We got some Canadian bacon that we use for breakfast, and we just minced that. And we've got some little smokies. SK2 likes pigs in the blankets, and we use little smokies in those, and the bag was open, so we use those too. So those are our meats. And for fresh vegetables, we've got some of our onions that have been minced. We've got a half can of refried beans that we're going to use to thicken up our feijoada. We got some minced shishito peppers that just came from the garden, and some of our garlic, which has been minced. And we've got some cilantro that we'll use as a garnish at the end. And for other seasonings, we're going to use some fresh ground black pepper. We're going to use some Cajun seasoning. You could use whatever seasoning you want, but that's one that we have on hand. Some Italian seasonings, some red pepper powder, and some salt. And we're going to use obviously some olive oil when we heat up our meat and saute our vegetables. So let me take you guys to the stove and we'll get started. So on medium-high heat, we've got our pan oiled up, our pot oiled up, and we're going to start adding our meats in. And first thing we're going to do is add our roasted pork belly, and we're going to let that cook for about a minute. Then we're going to add in our smoked brisket, and then our sausage. And when we add in our onions and garlic to saute the those down. Then we'll add in our minced Canadian bacon. So all these meats are obviously already cooked. We're just heating them through before we add in our vegetables to saute those. And we're going to not add the reason we don't add the Canadian bacon, we know it's processed a lot, and if we add it now, it would just dissolve within the other meats, which it'll dissolve into the beans anyway. So next we're going to add in our fresh vegetables. Saute these onions, peppers, and garlic for probably about a minute. And then we're going to add in some water to cover everything. Then we're going to add in our Canadian bacon and then add some water to cover everything. And our Canadian bacon minced up. And feijoada is another one of those dishes, like many others that we love, that you put into your feijoada what you want and what you like or what you have on hand, which is what we're doing now, just using things that we have on hand. So we just added our Canadian bacon, and now we're going to add enough water to come about twice the height of our meat. And we're going to cook this for about 15-20 minutes. And then we're going to add in our black beans and our dry seasoning. So as usual, I forgot something that we have made this before and loved it. Mrs. SG reminded me that I forgot the bay leaves. We are going to put a couple of bay leaves in ours right about now. Memory lapse number 2, our other secret ingredient in our feijoada is a Goya Sazon Goya seasoning mix, and this is culantro and achuete, and we add this in most of our Spanish themed dishes, and we're going to add it into this one now. So we brought it up to a boil. We're going to bring it back down to medium heat. Gonna add some bay leaves in here from our garden. And we're going to add in our dry seasonings. Just gonna sprinkle them on in there. And with the Cajun seasoning, this may not be really traditional, but we like it. And just salt, pepper to your taste, and Cajun seasoning to your taste. And of course, taste your food before you sit down at the table. Make sure it tastes the way you want it, and if you need to, then you can add seasoning if it's not seasoned enough. So our meat has been cooking for about 20 minutes. Now we're going to add in our black beans, which are canned and already cooked. And we're going to cook this mix for about 20 minutes also. And then we're going to add in our refried beans to make sure it's the thick consistency that we like. The consistency that we like. So our feijoada has been cooking 20 more minutes. Now we're going to add in our refried black beans and we're going to stir it, make sure it's mixed up well, and then we're going to cook it 20 more minutes and it should be done. Yeah, we're at the table in our feijoada. This is our second time making it. I did do a test run. Despite the mistakes and forgetfulness, I did do a test run of this before. So this is the second time that we've made it. And to me, it's even better than the first time. So we're eating the feijoada with a couple of somewhat traditional side dishes. Every region, I'm sure, has a different version of it. Every city, every town. Our feijoada is being served with white rice, sauteed collards, and some orange slices. And yeah, a lot of the videos I saw, they were serving theirs like that, but again, I'm sure there are different variations. So, Mrs. SG, what do you think about it?
Like I said, it's something we can cook when we have all this leftovers after you grill.
Mm-hmm. And we usually have leftovers after I grill, but we do freeze a lot. It's so good. I don't like as much fat in my foods as my wife does. She likes it. But with the pork belly, we rendered it down, and because we cooked it for over an hour, even the fat is delicious in this. It's not one of those dishes where you get a big wad of fat and you're like, everything in here is delicious. So SK1 is demolishing his. SK2's plate is almost, well, it is empty except for his orange slices. So we're going to call this dish a success. You wait there. He wants to show his orange slices. But everything is good. So we're going to dig in. It's late. It's after our usual meal time because this dish took a while to cook. But we're going to dig in, let our food digest, watch a movie, and then I'm going to get ready for work. So, did I give him a mukbang moment, sweetie? Let me.
Not yet.
Okay.
Is that a smiley face, Robert?
Wow. Everything in this dish is good. The meat, the beans, the veggies. You want me to give him an orange mukbang moment? Okay.
Okay, you ready? It's your turn, buddy.
Okay, thank you, bud.
Oranges.
All right, so we're going to close out. Enjoy this meal. I'm going to play catch up because I always fall behind when I'm talking. But as always, God bless our great country, America. You, wherever you reside around the world, your garden, your harvest, your kitchen, your meals, and especially your family to have health, success, and prosperity. Take care. Sapper out. And
SK2 out.
all right, take care, everyone. And thanks again to Simple Paradise Life for another great recipe.